it's Lisa here from Arcane Installer with a pick a card reading on what significant change or what big change is coming towards you over the next 6 months. So, with this reading, we do have 4 different groups, and you're welcome to choose more than one. On group number 1 here, we have this pendulum. And my cousin got it for me. And then we have group number 2 here with this mermaid bracelet. And Darlene made that for me, actually. Didn't get it for me, she made it for me. And then group number 3 here with this bell my mom bought me. And then on group number 4, also Darlene. Darlene got me this pendulum for my birthday. So yeah, 4 different objects, 4 different piles. Definitely, use your intuition to tune in to the message for you. And I hope that this reading is insightful and helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for what's coming, if it resonates, or if it sounds like it's something you need. I want to hear all about it. And I want to say a huge thank you. I think the name is Andrea. Okay, that's what I want to say it is. I don't think it's Andrea. I think it's Andrea. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. So Andrea is a very sweet person who got me this off my wish list, the Downton Abbey cookbook. And my sister and I were like huge fans of like Downton Abbey, and also like I always liked historical stuff, like Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, Anne of Green Gables. We just loved historical stuff, and this is like one of our shows. And so that was really cool that you picked that out. Oh man, I wish I could have made stuff with her from this, but I'll have to do it in her honor, I guess. But there's a lot of good recipes in here, so thank you so much. I'm really excited. I love to cook too, by the way. I have a Taurus Mars, so I think, it makes me more prone to like to cook and stuff like that. So anyways, I will stop here and go ahead and get started on the reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 1 here with this pendulum, this amethyst pendulum that my cousin got me, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and set that aside and get started on interpreting your cards. So let's see. We have got Enterprise, which is Jupiter in Aries, Free Spirit, Fertility. I think that this is Sybil. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. I totally had the failure a few videos ago where I literally couldn't pronounce anybody's name correctly. So if I'm saying it wrong, excuse me. I was going to look up the pronunciation and I forgot. I'm going to do that for the next one, though. Surprise with the Gypsy Oracle. The Lovers. Marriage. And Inkpot. Okay, so you know what, guys? Now, I feel like a lot of you, I mean, come on now. With the Lovers, marriage here, surprise. There could be a surprise proposal for a lot of you, especially if you're in the position to get one. It could be even a whirlwind romance as well for some of you coming in. Somebody that you kind of marry like a month later, or, get a proposal right away, like you just know. Maybe for some of you that won't be the case if you know you're not the type of person to do that. But again, for some of you this might be that you are going to be like, it's like surprisingly you're going to meet your future spouse over the next 6 months. Or have an encounter with them and kind of maybe start something. So again, like I feel like this big change coming to you over the next 6 months is something in regards to perhaps relationship. Now, for those of you, okay, so Jupiter in Aries is an interesting one because that's funny because Jupiter, it can be very... I have a prominent Jupiter in my chart because it's on my descendant, and sometimes we can be overzealous with it, or we get like really, it can be very exuberant, I guess, kind of behavior. And in Aries, wow, that's even, more so. So again, it can feel kind of risky, like taking that big gamble, that big risk, and just getting together with somebody. But again, it might also come as a surprise. Surprisingly enough, you meet that person that you're meant to be with. And yeah, and what's funny is that Jupiter in an astrological chart can represent like, what you want in a partner. Particularly like, for people who are looking for husbands in particular, that can be something that, describes the type of husband you have. And, or marriage partner, like kind of that long term. And, so yeah, that's interesting that came out, the Jupiter, and then there's this marriage and everything like that too. Let's see, but also, if we look at the book here, Jupiter's is about gain, right? Aries is about self-will and our physical self as well. Again, it feels kind of like a risky move, but it also says here, setting up a business, working for a foreign organization, using personality to improve one's status, enacting ideas for long-term success. Now, for some of you, you could be setting up your own business, and you might find that you're flourishing with this, okay? The reason why I say it is because we have a free spirit card, and that makes me feel, and the fertility card too, which makes me think that whatever you're kind of coming into, especially for those of you that are going to resonate with the business idea, you kind of are on, it's a good gamble, it's a good risk, it's a perfect pair for you. It can lead to like a long-term thing, you know what I mean? So that bodes well, especially if you guys are interested in that, with what I'm seeing here. So I could definitely see you guys starting something and it having that longevity to kind of keep going. Now, of course, Jupiter in Aries could be maybe a little bit overly optimistic, I would think. You know, I have Jupiter in Aquarius, but I have a lot of Aries placements. So as most of you know, I'm like an Aries, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. So I have like everything in Aries. But my Jupiter is in Aquarius. But anyways, problems to be resolved. Again, it might be that there are some things to be resolved, but again, it can be resolved. And you shouldn't let problems like, you know, dim your optimism, as an example on this as well. And the same that goes with, like, you know, the marriage proposal or meeting your future spouse. I could definitely see that maybe there would be some problems to be resolved, but you can kind of accomplish these things, especially if you free yourself from certain behaviors or limiting beliefs. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and read Sibyl's card, if I can find it in here. Number 23. Sibyl, the mother of the gods, knew the secrets of reproduction and controlled fertility in both the human and plant kingdom. She was worshipped with thanksgiving for the fruits of the earth. As protector of cities, the goddess wears a turreted crown and rides the regal lion associated with her instinctual strength. She holds a scepter of sovereignty in her left hand, while in her right she holds a cymbal, an instrument used in her rituals, festivals, and rites of spring. When this card is drawn, fertility abounds, and the goddess heralds a period of growth and renewal. She invites you to abandon yourself and celebrate with the fullness of life. The feminine wisdom. Inherent in the human psyche is the understanding of the process of renewal. The goddess reminds us that powerful forces are released after a period of withdrawal and hibernation. Well, that's fine. I like that. So it sounds like, it's like maybe there's a surprise renewal coming towards you, or this sense of more possibility of optimism coming towards you as well. You know, I can't help but see that lion and think of loyalty and like a loyal partner. There's a fly. Hello, fly. But she invites you to abandon yourself and celebrate the fullness of life. And there's that like total sense of abandonment. So I do feel like a lot of the big change coming towards you, it has a lot to do with abandonment and abandonment of restrictions. There's that sense of optimism coming towards you. And again, I really feel like for a lot of you, this has a lot to do with a love, you know, a partner. And yeah. And again, it might be quite a surprise. Some of you may be watching this and be like, hell no, Lisa, you're crazy. There's nobody in my life. And then, damn it, well, maybe there's gonna be. At least that's what it's pointing to. And again, for others of you who are like, no, I'm already in a relationship, well, I mean, of course, maybe there can be a renewal in your relationship. Or maybe for some of you, you'll decide, I don't like what I'm doing. I'm a free spirit and I can make new things happen. And I'm going to move on to better things. And maybe, again, if you have that kind of attitude, you're going to find that, you know, people come into your life that are meant to be there. And I could see you guys meeting perhaps a new marriage partner rather quickly. Again, for some of you, this is going to be more in the business realm, perhaps expanding your work prospects. Again, there might be a long-term contract, especially like with foreign companies, especially for those of you that are looking maybe to get an acceptance abroad in terms of work. I could see you guys signing a contract. And again, it's a lucky risk. That's kind of a good pairing with the lovers. I think it would be fruitful for you, and it might give you some sense of adventure. So again, take it as it resonates. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different thing going on. And let's take a few charms. Uh-oh. We have an elephant. I think of the elephant, I think of loyalty. Loyalty. So again, you might be attracting loyal people into your life long term too, because I think of elephants as very like long living, long life, long loyalty. And so you might be attracting that kind of like person. And again, with the scissors, you might be, well, first of all, mending things, cutting things out of your life, right? That aren't really necessary in order to kind of go towards new things. No way, Jose. Look at this. We have Libra charm. So again, Libra is the house, you know, the 7th house is a house of marriage. Some of you, if you're Leo risings, we've got Jupiter actually going through that. Although it hasn't boded well for me. I lost my sister, but I have not the best setup for that, for my transit. So Jupiter is squaring some stuff, and anyways, that's just my personal transit. Transits are very individualistic towards a person's chart. Anyways, we also have this clock here, so this watch face, and it tells me about maybe timing and stuff like that. Maybe it's something you've been waiting for, or it's unexpected. It's like you never know when the time is going to hit you. You know what I mean? When you never know when things are going to really occur. We also have You're Always in My Heart. Who is knocking on the window? Anyways, You're Always in My Heart. And I feel like a lot of you are really having a supportive friend around you. Okay? Because we have the yellow heart, which makes me think a lot of friendship. And then we have BFF, and You're Always in My Heart. I do wonder if some of you are falling in love with a friend. Or, I don't know, maybe the person who's like your lover is someone who's a friend. Or, again, there might be a focus on friendship here over the next 6 months. We also have the oogly eyes. And I always think of like, wow, 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 wow. You know, like somebody who's very impressed. And again, there's kind of that sense of urgency. Like, oh my gosh, let's do this. Okay? And then we have the eye. And this eye button, it reminds me of like kind of tuning into our intuition. So again, there might be a lot of intuitive insights. And again, I think someone has their eye on you. And there are a lot about eyes. So it's like you're looking at somebody. They're looking at you. It's interesting that we have 2 eyes here and 1 eye here. So it's almost like maybe you don't see this person coming, but they've been looking at you the whole time. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys that chose group number 1. I really hope it resonates. And yeah, and again, by the way, if it's work and stuff like that, it might be that, again, maybe someone has their eye on you and you haven't really noticed them. Or they finally open their eye to look at, you know, a company you've been looking at finally opens their eye to look at you. You know what I mean? Okay, so anyways, I'm sending you guys lots of love. I hope that this reading resonates and helps you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 2 here with this mermaid bracelet, this is your reading. So let's find out what big change will come over the next 6 months from the time you watch this reading. So we've got, ooh, Sun in Gemini. I like it. Oh, maybe for some of you, Gemini season is going to be really pivotal. So the end of, you know, well, May, June. And then we have feelings. We've got the 10 of Cups. Wow, okay. Joyfulness. Dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. Dolphin, financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. And Eris, strife. Wow, this is crazy. I love this. Okay, so first of all, if you are in a place where you're not feeling exceptionally well and you've been dealing with a lot of problems, I can see that very much dissipating. So I think one of the biggest changes is that you're going to have a sense of stability, especially mentally and emotionally. Okay? I feel like you're going to be on a good wavelength. And even if you feel like that now, maybe that's just for some people. Now, the Sun in Gemini can talk about mental awareness, and it can also talk about like social gatherings. So I do feel like you're going to be meeting up with a friend, perhaps that could be a very good experience for you, as an example too. So you might be meeting up with a friend as an example. Sometimes also the Sun, well, Gemini can represent short trips, like short distance trips. So you might be meeting up with a friend and it leads to like great happiness and, you know, amazing things. Also, the Sun in Gemini can talk about like an important conversation with a friend as an example as well, and one that brings a lot of happiness. So maybe there's a pivotal conversation with somebody that's going to kind of make a turning point for you in some way. But I do feel like you're coming up close to a friend in some way and having a really good time. The other thing as well is that it can talk about brothers and sisters too, because Gemini, of course, the third house represents siblings. And so Gemini is also like, you know, the sign associated with like siblings. So you might be getting closer to like siblings in general as well. And neighbors, of course, too. You might get a new neighbor that will bring a lot of happiness for some of you. Maybe that friendship is going to be a new neighbor that moves in for some of you. Now, let's see. What else could I say here? Marketing and social media. If you guys, for those of you watching that are into social media, as an example, or you're trying to kind of start something like a YouTube channel or anything that kind of involves social media or marketing, and I could see you guys having success in that arena. The third house, or Gemini, represents that house of, you know, like communication, marketing, and getting yourself out there kind of. So I could definitely see like strides in that way, especially if you are looking to kind of, maybe for some of you, one of the things is that you're going to start to get, for those of you that are like looking for like sponsorships or, you know, being monetized or in something like that, if that makes sense to you, right? I could definitely see that coming, because it says financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. So again, this might be a heads up. Hey, if you wanted to do that thing, start doing it, because within the next 6 months, you'll start to see the results, right? And that's interesting that it says something you've done from the past, or something from the past, because we have that 10 of Cups, which talks about the culmination of happiness. So it feels like it's something that's built up. It feels like something that's coming from the past as well, in terms of that. We also have Eris. Now, Eris is an interesting goddess. Okay, so Eris is, I actually have that on my moon, that asteroid, next to my moon. Provocatively holding a golden ball, Eris offers you a challenge, which is about to become clear. The Greek poets knew Eris as strife, but they also described her as a spirit of competition and the mother to pain, quarrels, and disputes. When Eris was the only goddess not invited to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, hopefully I'm saying that right, she retaliated by creating mayhem. At the wedding banquet, she rolled a golden ball inscribed "To the fairest." The ensuing conflict between Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena triggered the Trojan War, the greatest battle in Greek mythology. The myth of Eris suggests that when we ignore or repress strife, it returns to create chaos. The card signals a situation that needs to be confronted directly and honestly, even though it may be unpleasant and disruptive. Eris recognizes the action is necessary to prevent disconcerting consequences. Feminine wisdom. Conflict is an aspect of the human drama. When we confront discord openly, the issue can be resolved and released. Well, that's funny. That makes sense for me with it on my moon, because I have my moon, Mercury, and Venus all conjunct, and I have Eris there as well. And I hate conflict. I hate it, and I'll go to any length to avoid it usually. And that's almost like a message. It reminds me of something I need to hear. Sometimes it's better to kind of face the music and allow drama to kind of happen. So some of you might be confronting things that maybe you haven't wanted to confront, but it's going to lead you to happiness, and you know it, but you're just afraid of that confrontation. It's like when you know you need to quit a job, right? And you're like, okay, I need to do it, but I don't want everyone to be mad at me. I don't want everyone to hate me. And then you're like, you finally do it, and it feels like the end of the world, but then it's actually so much better, and you feel so much lighter later on. I feel like that is kind of something that you're dealing with, confronting. And that makes sense too with feelings, right? Feelings of discord, disharmony, trying to avoid those things. But when you confront those things, even if it's scary for a moment, there's brightness ahead, right? It leads to a happy culmination. And I feel like you have really strong support, by the way, of family, friends, particularly a close friend, right? And I could see that perhaps you might become even closer to somebody, or you have that like sense of friendship around you over the next 6 months or within 6 months. Oh, let's see. Yeah, and again, financial gains are coming towards you, especially for those of you that have kind of already started something, or you will start it soon, and you know it will kind of develop over time, especially for those of you that kind of work with social media marketing and such things as the third house. Third house can also, it can represent a lot of like lower education, or like community colleges. It can also talk about like sort of like trainers or jobs that are more clerical in nature as well. So yeah, like clerical work. Okay. Anyways, let's get some charms for you. Oh, the Gemini charm came out. I love it. Okay. So, let's see what we've got here. Wow, yes. Okay. I'm going to take a few more here. Okay. So, we have the cactus. You can survive anything. So again, for those of you that are like trying to confront a negative situation and it feels really scary, very prickly, it's like once you confront that though, it's going to bring you so much happiness. So maybe that's encouragement for some of you that need to, you need to do something, but you're scared of what kind of stuff can come out of it. You're like, it's gonna make everyone bad, or everything's gonna be negative. It won't be. We have the third house and Capricorn. Gemini and Capricorn. So third house and 10th house. Again, I could see recognition, perhaps. Your reputation increasing, especially through communication, especially for those of you that use communication as a form of your work, as an example. I can definitely see great strides in that. I can see some of you maybe learning a new course that will take you towards a higher goal as well. So this could be taking like a course of some kind that could lead you towards career opportunities or higher purpose, or something that you feel is like what you could ultimately do, as an example too. So for some of you that could be it, but I feel like a lot of you are just going to get some like recognition socially, as an example, and kind of be, again, maybe financial gains coming in for a lot of you in terms of things you've kind of already built upon. Because you think about the earth houses, and it's like the 6th house, right, is like the house of like the worker, and then the 10th house is kind of like what you want to get to when you can become the boss, right? The earth house is kind of like how the water houses work. Each house kind of represents different steps, especially when you talk about the elements or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, it feels like some sort of growth there. And let's see, we have the astrology charm here. So some of you might be learning a lot more astrology. Some of you might take an astrology course. But the other thing I was going to say is that you might have certain astrological influences that are really pushing on you at this time. So again, you might have, I would say, like things that are transiting your 1st, your 4th, your 7th, or your 10th house in particular, because those are usually the transits that are going to create a lot of change in your life, especially when they're near the angles. But anytime those angular houses are being kind of transited, those are going to be pivotal. Also, when your luminaries, your sun or your moon, are getting like an aspect from a certain planet, particularly like more quicker moving ones. I wouldn't say like Pluto square sun or Pluto trine sun as being like, that's more of a longer lasting transit. So you may see things pop up with it, but it's more like longer lasting. It's kind of like, yeah, I've seen people ask that about like, oh, what's a Pluto transit like for like the 5th house or something, and I was like, well, I just watched a lot of TV shows and I was obsessed with them. And then once it went away, I just kind of stopped focusing on TV shows so much. That's kind of like what it is. It's like a period, long period. But anyway, so more personal transits. I feel like a lot of you are going through something like that, like a strong transit, as an example. So angular transits, as I said, or to your luminaries, maybe also the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, So we've got another mermaid here. So we got the mermaid deck, obviously, and then we got a mermaid charm here. So it's like kind of like there's a contemplative energy to her. So it's like, I feel like where you've been kind of stationary and kind of thinking about things, it's like I feel like a lot of you know what's coming. And we have don't look back, that's not where you're going. So there's a moving away from the past. We've also got the key here. So there's significant events, things that are fated. I think of this key as the fated relationships, fated encounters, fated events, kind of like the vertex. And sometimes, with the vertex in astrology, that can be so unpredictable. I was just talking to my friend today about that, about how, I was looking at when my sister passed away, she had Chiron on her anti-vertex. And my uncle, when he passed away, he had the sun on his anti-vertex as well. And I have my son's sun on my anti-vertex. So when he was born, the sun was on my anti-vertex. When my daughter was born, the moon was on my vertex. So it's like whenever it feels like, and when I met my partner, way back when, the Venus is on my vertex. And I always notice that during significant times of my life, good or bad, often the vertex is being transited. Not always, but a lot of the times. But then there are plenty of times where it doesn't do anything, so it's so hard to predict. But again, it feels like there are fated things happening, things that are meant to be part of your path, things that are going to push on you. And again, we have a key, so it feels like a lot of fated events, a lot of doors being opened, a lot of things kind of happening for you. We also have grandmas are great, so there might be a focus on a grandmother. And again, this could be a grandmother saying hello to some of you, making memories with grandma. And then we have this perfume bottle. So a lot of sweet things coming towards you. Some of you might make an expensive purchase, something I'm also getting over these next 6 months. Again, you might be feeling your value increase as well. And communication might be sweeter too, because Sun in Gemini. Gemini is the best communicator. Oh my goodness, Gemini. Oh, I'm jealous of people who have Mercury in Gemini. I wish I had that, because they're the best speakers. And they write really good. Of course, people with third house Mercuries as well can also benefit. And of course, there are, aspects between Mercury and certain things can also help too. But yeah, I really, that's good. And it makes me think that you might be saying things that are valued and, are sweet kind of, or good. Some of you might even get a love letter. Okay, anyways, that's what I'm going to just stop there. And I wish you all the very, very best. Take care of yourselves and lots of love. See you on the next reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 3 here with this bell, let's find out what changes are coming over the next 6 months. What big change is coming? So we'll just set that up there. I like the bell because it's like calling things in. It's like you're calling things towards you. So let's see what you've got. We have got Venus and Taurus romance. Woo! We have memories. We have 8 of Cups. We have despair. We have Métis, the goddess of wisdom, or with wisdom. We have pineapple, reconciliation. And we have fair woman. Very fascinating. So, look at this. I certainly feel like a lot of you are moving in a new direction with the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is about, new journeys, new pathways, and such. Also, with that despair, what's changing? This is about what's changing. So, memories of despair, as an example, or moments of despair, or maybe feelings of despair that you've been experiencing, those are going to be alleviating. And perhaps the thing about the 8 of Cups is that we can take that knowledge that we've learned thus far and take it with us on our journey as we go towards new things. And we still have the memories. We can still take the memories with us and use that as wisdom. So I feel like a lot of you are moving away from something on a new path, and you're taking a lot of wisdom with you. I am going to actually do something I didn't do with the other groups. One moment. I'm just going to go ahead and I want to clarify this reconciliation. What is going on with the reconciliation for group number 3? For the majority of those that chose. Okay, so we have the King of Cups here. And this, okay. Yeah, you are reuniting with somebody, okay? That's like, I'm so glad I did that. That's like a total confirmation. What the heck? Okay, yeah, look at that. We have the King of Cups and the 6 of Cups. Okay, could you be any more reconciliation than that? And you have the pineapple. Wow. See, that's why I like shuffling on camera. But I don't always like to shuffle on camera when I have like 5 different decks going on. You know what I mean? Because then it's going to take 20 years and you guys are going to get annoyed with me. But, wow, yeah. It looks like you guys are reconciling with someone from your past. And it could be a figure who is emotionally stable. Maybe they weren't before, but they're coming forward, with an apology, with kindness. And maybe there's a lot of memories associated with this person. Maybe in some way you've moved away from this person, and it's like you're coming toward, they're coming towards you again. The fair woman's interesting. That could be describing you. Maybe could be describing the other person. I wouldn't, say that the fair woman has to be the person you reconcile with either, by the way. And fair woman could be fair hair or skin, as an example. And fair can be, kind of, what's it called? Dependent upon, your culture and stuff like that, where you come from. So, with Venus, it talks about a love affair, a fortunate marriage, living happily in comfort, gaining through a love relationship, a windfall or gift from someone else, right? So this can be talking about a pleasurable forthcoming event, probably with a little monetary gain attached, the best business relationship that will succeed if concerned with one of the arts. And it does seem like, honestly, it feels like you're going to have some sort of encounter in love. That's what it feels like to me. Of course, it could be financial gains, again, through partnership maybe. But it feels like you're headed towards some happy changes in that department. Again, with the wisdom, I want to read this card with Métis because I think that might be interesting to read and see what's going on there. This is the deck that I got from my sister. And I'm still learning it. But I want to get good at it. But that requires me using it a lot. So Métis was the earliest goddess of wisdom. Her intelligence arose from the depth of her feelings. Hence she was known as the personification of insight and prudence. When Métis became pregnant by Zeus, he felt threatened that their child would dethrone him, just as he had done to his own father. Therefore he devoured Métis. Athena, the Olympian goddess of wisdom, was their child born through Zeus's head. Wow, what? This fanciful myth describes a cultural shift from instinctual wisdom to intellect. Métis sits on the throne of perception, holding the scroll of wisdom. On one side is the sun, representing Zeus's irrational way of knowing. On the other side, the moon reflects the intuitive mode of Métis. This card suggests an integrative approach to decisions, using both the left and the right brain. Wise decisions require not only rational knowledge, but also intuition and feeling. Feminine wisdom. Métis symbolizes wisdom experienced as a gut knowing, a confluence of thoughts and feelings. Métis is a human faculty that allows us to instinctually know things and to articulate this to others. Well, some of you might be finding that you're having a lot more intuitive insights. And again, a lot of times intuitive insights do come from, sometimes it's more in the brain, sometimes it's more in the heart. It just depends on people's intuitive types. But it feels like there's some sort of balance coming for you in terms of your emotions and your intellect. Oftentimes, I think that's where people get a lot of depression or when they're feeling despair. It comes from that lack of balance. It's like they know something's wrong, but they feel a different way. Or they are overthinking something when they know what they want, they feel what they want, right? So that's, honestly, I feel like, well, obviously if it's not clinical or something else, a chemical imbalance or something like that, a lot of times when we feel a lot of despair and disharmony in ourselves, it's because we know we need to do something and we're not doing it, or there's some sort of intuitive pull. And that's really what I feel like you're going on. You're following your gut here with the Eight of Cups, and you're going towards where you need to go. And that's going to be one of the biggest changes towards you, that's coming towards you. It's not even coming towards you. It's like you're going to be doing this, I feel like. And again, it could have something to do with a reconciliation of somebody. I feel like somebody's going to be coming back from your past for a lot of you, and I feel like a lot of you, that might be, that romance might ensue. Somebody that you have memories with. Now, maybe this message isn't for everybody, but I do feel like it's likely that most of you are going to have this kind of experience. Because, it's uncanny that, like I said, that I, clarified that reconciliation card, and I literally got the King of Cups and the Six of Cups. Like, it really points in the direction of a romance ensuing. And again, it seems like it's somebody that you've known. Maybe for some of you, if you don't know anybody, it might be somebody from a past life. So don't discount it and say, I don't know anybody. It could be somebody from a past life, as an example, too. But it feels like Maybe in the past maybe that was a difference between the two of you, as an example. Maybe the one person was more emotional, the other person was more logical, and maybe there's that kind of balance that's going to be restored between the two people. You know what I mean? So, wow. Strong message for reconciliation for a lot of you. And again, fair woman could represent somebody, could represent the person. I might go ahead and clarify that actually. Let me just put these cards back. Tell me more about the fair woman. What does a fair woman have to do with the changes coming towards group number 3? The Empress. Okay. Does seem like a feminine energy. The Six of Wands. And the Seven of Pentacles. Let's see what changes are coming. Fair woman. Whoops. Okay. So, we have the Hangman. I feel like what we're getting here is it might be somebody that you've waited for. Also, for some of you, with the Empress and the Hanged Man, it makes me feel like maybe someone's really appreciating you. Maybe there's been a lot of patience that's been required here. A lot of effort and patience. Because the Seven of Pentacles and the Hanged Man both speak to me about patience. Like in sort of like a sacrifice too in a bit, you know, somewhat, because with the Seven of Pentacles you kind of have to sacrifice to make it work. You have to keep on trying and stuff like that. And it maybe is something that you've been holding on to for a while that's finally ready to kind of develop, as an example. So maybe it's a situation that's meant to develop. I could see material gains though for some of you. If you're not interested in romance, again, it might be that you're seeing more material gains as well. There also might be some sort of recognition from a specific woman, actually, as well, okay? There might be, yeah, someone might be kind of giving you some of you might meet a celebrity that's a woman. I just want to say it. I wanted to say it earlier, but I felt ridiculous saying it because it's just like a random thing that will probably only be for a few of you. But some of you might actually have an encounter with a celebrity that's a female. You know what I mean? Or somebody that's really respected, or is a celebrity in your eyes, or somebody that, yeah, you look up to, as an example. And there could be some sort of advice given too from this feminine. Okay, so that's honestly what I feel like the biggest change is. I feel like a lot of you are leaving certain things from the past behind. You're moving in forward in a way that you know is intuitively correct from you. I feel like you are moving out of despair. Again, I feel like for many of you, there's going to be a romantic reconciliation from the past. And again, maybe the person wasn't romantic in the past with you. Maybe it never got off the ground. Or, again, it might be a past life thing. But I feel like you're coming into some sort of period of romance and reconciling. Okay? So, and it feels like a good match. It's funny, actually, with Matisse, because there's the sun and the moon. And actually, sun and the moon conjunctions, when people have sun-moon conjunction in astrology, that's actually like a really positive aspect. I've really actually only experienced that once, I think, or twice, and it really is. It's a good vibe, I will say. So some of you might be finding that you have this sort of aspect with this person, possibly, you know what I mean? Or at least you'll have the effects of that. Maybe sun and moon in good aspect too, because that's always a good thing. Even in challenging aspects, that can still bring a lot of desire. So anyways, I hope that this... Oh, wait, I didn't do charms. What the heck? I'm all like hurrying up and trying to end it, and I'm not trying to hurry up. I'm just like, oh, I thought it was done. Let's get some charms. Group number 3, changes coming their way over the next 6 months. What big change? Okay, wow. So we've got a little money sign here, some dollar sign. That's really tiny, huh? I see a lot of you bringing in some money. Okay, so I see financial gains with Venus and Taurus as well. A lot of financial gains coming towards you. We also have enjoyed the journey, find the joy in the journey. Oh, wow. that's interesting because the Eight of Cups is literally the card of journeys. So, you know, with the Eight of Cups too, it can be like, it's kind of reminds me of that quote, and it's like kind of like, find you. There is something like another quote that it reminds me of, and I can't think of what it is now. Darn it. Time here with the watch face that came out in the first group too. I wonder if some of you picked the first group, because that actually doesn't come out very often, and it came out in 2 groups already. Money here again. Well, it's like a little symbolism, like a, I think it's, well, somebody told me what this was in the comment once and I forgot, darn it. I think it's a Chinese coin. But anyways, we have this clock here. So again, it feels like time. Time marches on. You're kind of moving towards things and you're going in the right direction as well. We have the skull and crossbones. This makes me think of like leaving toxic situations. Toxicity behind, that kind of thing. We have the cat, so maybe leading a more independent lifestyle, making choices that are independent as well. We have a guardian angel here, so a little angel, perhaps guiding you. Also, kind of reminds you of a Cupid a little bit too, so maybe again Cupid's arrow is striking. We have 2 books. Let's see. So again, some of you might be readers. We have Emma and Pride and Prejudice and Little Women. Oh my gosh, like. Oh my god, well, I don't really like Emma. Honestly, Emma's my least favorite Jane Austen novel. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe some of you really like it, but I don't, it's never been my, Pride and Prejudice, I love. Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, I love. But Emma wasn't always necessarily one of my favorites, but Little Women's one of my favorite books of all time. And it's my comfort movie, the 94 version anyways. Some of you might be like, again, you know what's funny is that Emma's kind of like, she works as like kind of a Cupid. So again, it's like somehow there's like some maybe setup here, you know, romantic setup happening. And again, these are very romantic books. And you know what's interesting with Little Women? If you think about Jo's story, there's Friedrich is, you know, who she gets with, and there's a choice kind of made, not a choice made by her. I guess she doesn't really, she denies Lori, but then ends up getting with Friedrich. So there might be some sort of, I don't know, somehow that came to my mind. And that doesn't always come to my mind when I pull this charm, so keep it in mind. And there's actually a fight. They have an argument and then they reconcile. He comes out to see her, right? And then he's like, thinks that she's, you know, married to somebody else, and she, in fact, she's not. And blah, blah, blah. Anyways. So we also have Paris here, so the Eiffel Tower. So maybe Paris for some of you is important. Maybe some of you are going to go on a trip to Paris. But, you know, it makes you think of landmarks, Europe, and stuff like that. So take it as it resonates. We have I will. Wow. So it feels like you're making those changes. You know, sometimes Taurus is a fixed sign. So sometimes it can be a little bit slow. I have Mars in Taurus, and it's like sometimes I take forever to make a decision or to do something. I'm like stationary for a while, and then I finally get the gumption, you know, when I tap into my Aries. But it's like you're doing stuff. You will do something. You are doing it. Like it's going to happen. There's like will behind it, you know, and I like that. And then we have Aquarius. So again, friendships could be very important here with Aquarius. Social events, communities and such like that. Hopes and dreams too with Aquarius. What does it say on the back? Friendly. So friendly encounters. And then we have the heart here. So love. Love in your life. I like it. And for money, if you guys are working like social media, internet or something like that, I could definitely see that increasing. Okay? With these 3 charms here. And again, some of you might be planning an actual journey, perhaps too. Maybe to meet someone because of the Eiffel Tower. Maybe they're abroad or something. We have also this shell, so it makes you think of like surprises. And yeah, surprises is what I kind of get with that. Anyways, that's what I've got for you guys. I really hope that this reading helped you, resonated. Let me know in the comments below how you felt. I really am eager to hear about it, and I am wishing you all the very, very best. See you in the next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. If you chose this beautiful pendulum that Darlene got me for my birthday, thank you. Thank you, Darlene. This is your reading. So let's find out what changes are coming. What's like the biggest change that's kind of happening for you over the next 6 months from the time you watch this reading. So we have got Sun in Cancer. Ooh, okay. We also have Waiting. We have 3 of Cups. Now I'll do this. Yeah, there we go. This is, okay, well, I'll get to that in a minute. We'll do May. Okay, so it feels like some significant stuff maybe in the month of May. Maybe there's something to do with somebody born in May. Maybe some of you are born in May. We have Throne, position of authority. And we have Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. We also have Iphigenia. Iphigenia, I think that's how you say it. Iphigenia. And we have, look at this. So I first got one Gypsy Oracle card and it was Enemy. And then I pulled another one. I like shuffled out another one and it was Foe. I think a lot of you are going to be exposing, or people that are no good in your life are going to be exposed. And that's very interesting. Like there's definitely something to do with perhaps also maybe karma coming back to people that haven't done you right. As an example, it's kind of interesting that we have both the feminine and the masculine coming out in the cards. So it kind of makes me feel as if it's like, for some of you that could be representative of it. Again, this could be in any realm of your life. I don't mean to scare you, because these are good changes. You're bringing in happy things, right? Especially because there's 3 of Cups here. So maybe good friendships as an example, supportive friendships, getting rid of people that are no good to you as an example in your life, right? Oh, goodness. Okay, let's see what's going on. Sun in Cancer. So that's an interesting placement. Let's look and see what it says. So it says resourcefulness. And it says those requiring sympathy, suspicion based on previous experience, big family occasions, reunions, inheritance, and parental contact. Yeah, that can be like a parental contact for sure. That would make sense with that. Usually this talks a lot about family though, so that's quite interesting because Cancer is very much connected to our family and our roots. So it does feel as if maybe for some of you this has something to do with like family relationships, maybe moving away from people that haven't been so good to you and moving more towards family as an example, or moving away from your family towards friends that are more beneficial towards you, right? So it might resonate a little bit different, but it feels like there's some sort of significant events with the family. Home also too, by the way. Some of you could be, if you've been waiting to move, you might find that you're going to move. As an example, that could be a big change that's coming towards you, if that, you identify with that. Yeah. You might find that especially for those of you that maybe been waiting for the right people to come into your life, I could see that maybe those people are coming into your life, especially those that will nurture you and give you sympathy as an example, because it does mention that, like those requiring sympathy. Also, I could see a lot of you as well, because there's a sacrifice. Now, I want to read the card for this Iphigenia, but I do feel like some of you, if you sacrifice for others that maybe didn't deserve it, you might be finding more power within yourself not to do that. You might find out that people that you've sacrificed for aren't necessarily the best to be sacrificing for. Or you might kind of come into that knowledge. But it's a good thing, right? I know we don't want to hear that because it can sound scary. Because change is scary, or, getting, find out that someone's no good is scary. But it's a good thing in the long run, isn't it? Better than, shit going on behind the scenes. Right? So Iphigenia says sacrifice. On the windswept coast of Greece, the spirit of Iphigenia awaits her destiny. Her father's ship is rigged and ready to set sail to lead the Greek fleet to Troy. Iphigenia sadly remembers the rapid turn of events. She was told that she was to wed the greatest of all heroes. Instead, she was sacrificed to appease the goddess Artemis. Iphigenia represents the archetypal pattern of the daughter sacrificed to her father's achievements. Her myth reveals the indifference, exploitation, or lack of emotional support daughters suffer in their relationships with their fathers. Yet it is through this wound that Iphigenia finds her own destiny. Her ill treatment led her into the service of the goddess, who guided her individuation process. The card reminds us to reflect on what needs to be surrendered in order to begin the self-actualization process. Like Iphigenia, you may be called to leave behind a familiar relationship to find the true path of feminine values. Feminine wisdom. The heroine knows she must leave her father's house and return to the feminine values suppressed by the patriarchal relationship. Wow. Some of you are leaving, particularly maybe masculine figures, or long-standing situations that are not healthy for you. I feel like that's going to be one of the most pivotal changes that's going to be coming towards you, is that a lot of you are going to really be seeking out that inner part of yourself, and it's like, you need to leave. I do feel like that there might be a journey. I do feel like, honestly, with the ship here, especially in the background, and that sun in Cancer, I could see a lot of you moving. There's a lot of that sea imagery too, which makes me think about really climbing into, like, the depths of your emotions. And this could be also understanding patterns. And this is finding authority in yourself. That's funny because, yeah, with Iphigenia, she's like trying to find her own authority, right? Not her father's authority, not the other people in her life, or patriarchal, whether it's, a relationship or of some kind, or in any aspect, maybe beyond the home. Maybe it could be at work, or it could be in any kind of frame of mind that you're kind of dealing with. But I feel like a lot of you are going to be finding that position of authority within yourself. And instead of kind of waiting for other people to decide, perhaps you're going to be taking action. I also see, like I said, with that Three of Cups, a lot of friendship coming towards you, supportive people. I think that could be something here. Especially, like I said, with the enemy and the foe, I have to say that, again, it does feel like to me that there are some people that are not good for you, that maybe don't have your best interest at heart. 2 people probably in particular. I mean, again, this foe could just be a confirmation that there really is an enemy around you. You know what I mean? That there is somebody that's not good for you in the long run. And you're going to be like kind of, maybe for some of you, you've sacrificed. Like, this person's done you wrong and you keep sacrificing for them. And you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to show you, like my son says, my bad finger and be out of here. You know what I mean? Let's see. Group number 4. What is happening? What changes are happening? Tell me more. Don't push the river, let it flow. I feel like some of you have been waiting. And that's funny because there's a waiting card and it says, don't push the river, let it flow. Again, a mermaid comes out. That's funny. That's interesting because this deck doesn't even, it's not, this is a mermaid themed deck, so it makes sense, but this one isn't. It's got some mermaids, but it's not all mermaids. Believe in your dreams and choose what makes you happy. Those all came out. So it says, don't push the river, let it flow. So for those of you that have been kind of like letting things flow, as an example, or letting things go, and just kind of allowing things to kind of go the way that they should, I feel like a lot of you are taking authority in your life, and you're actually going to take the steps necessary in order to kind of achieve the things you want. And you're choosing your own happiness this time, rather than maybe the happiness or expectation of another person. May is significant in some way. Now, some of you might be dealing with somebody from the month of May. Or, again, a lot of these things could be happening in May. Let me see. Tell me more about the Three of Cups for group number 4. I want to hear more about the Three of Cups in terms of the changes. The Devil. The Wheel of Fortune. The Three of Cups. Okay. The Devil. Wow. So it feels like you have the support of people, is what I'm getting. And again, you might have some faded friendships and relationships coming into your life that kind of help you move forward. With that Three of Wands, yeah, making action towards moving forward in your life. Again, there might be travel involved here as well, and looking towards your future. The Devil can be the card of the oppressor, the things that kind of oppress us, that make us feel like shit, the things that make us don't feel good about ourselves, and people also that can be controlling. It can talk about codependent relationships. So when you're feeling like you always kind of sacrifice for another person because you're feeling codependent on their love or their appreciation or their, their approval, it's like you are I feel like a lot of you guys are moving away from that need or that desire. You might be moving towards, you know, family members that are more positive for you, or people that feel like home towards you. You know what I mean? I like this energy. I see friendship and support. Again, some of you, like I said, might be moving home. Because we have a lot of cards about that. Especially too, that even if Ifigenia is like about moving, right? Because she ends up leaving and going somewhere else. So again, physical moves might be indicative here. Or indicated, sorry. We've got one here. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we have a level up and an extra life. So I do feel like some of you are making like a second chance. You're giving a second chance, because this is like the mushroom of second chances. It's like, okay, you get an extra life. So if you fuck, if you fuck up, you know, you get another chance. Okay, sorry, I just dropped the F-bomb. Oh well. I'm pretty good at that sometimes. Aries, Mercury. Okay, we have also Leo, Pisces, Cancer showing up. In terms of zodiac signs, let me make sure there are any other ones. Leo can talk about our confidence levels. And it can talk about feeling more confident, putting yourself out there more, performances. It can talk about dating, romance, and such like that. It can talk about taking a gamble, taking a risk too. And again, with Pisces, this can be about things dissolving. Again, this might be moving. For some of you, might be moving to a foreign country, or again, maybe dissolving things around the home. Some of you might get intuitive dreams. I feel like some of you are anchoring somewhere else, though, with the anchor, towards more positive things, or you're pulling up that anchor where maybe it's been for too long attached. We have 2 cats. Yeah, we have 2 cat charms. Hello, Kitty. Cats remind me of independence and kind of doing what they want to do. Cats like to do what they want to do. And even the horse here, it represents like freedom, is what I get with the horse. They kind of free-spirited and being able to kind of run and break free. So like, you know, you think of like wild Mustangs and stuff like that. They kind of like wild. They do what they want to do. And that's kind of what I'm getting here, that sense of independence here. And I also see the fish here. So I think abundance is, you know, available to you, multiplying what you have. And I feel like you'll be successful. I do feel like that you'll see a lot of success over the next 6 months as well. I also feel like, I don't know why, and I get this again, but a love letter for some of you with the perfume bottle. I don't know why. I just think of like spraying a letter, and that keeps coming into my mind. So again, you might receive a love letter or a supportive letter as well. Maybe life's going to smell a little bit sweeter. We also have this mermaid. So contemplative mermaid. And it reminds me of this card, actually. She's kind of like contemplative. So things you've been thinking of, things that you've been kind of contemplating on, those changes will start to happen. We also have a lot of intuition here with this I button. Intuitive insights. And we have a good friend here with the 0. You know, this reminds me of good friendship, somebody supportive around you, and such. We also have the Mickey Mouse key. So again, I feel like pivotal moments, fated moments. And I told this, and you know, there's the Wheel of Fortune. It's like fated events, fated people are going to be coming into your life. Things that, you know, people are going to have an impact on you. And they're meant to kind of maybe move you away from certain situations. So it's like you're kind of, a new phase is kind of coming in. And I think lucky breaks as well. Particularly maybe through people. And then we have Paris. So again, that's funny because I think group number 3 had the Eiffel Tower. So some of you might be, I don't know, maybe if you chose that, you're going to go to Paris or Europe, or there's something about travel here, international travel possibly. Maybe uprooting and settling in another country for some of you. But yeah, that is what I'm getting for you guys. A lot of independence, leveling up, new chances, and breaking away from things that are not good for you. So I wish you all the very, very best. Thank you for your support, your comments. Let me know in the comments below if you like the reading. Please, please, please let me know. And I'm sending you lots of love. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next reading. Bye-bye.